Hi, Mark. This is Darren with MyRVWorks. I got your message regarding your Schwintek system, and let's take a look at your email and see if I can't give you kind of some direction on where to go with this thing. So you've got your main slide room. It's out of alignment, okay? And then you say the top doesn't seem to want to move in or out, but the bottom moves, okay? And it's a Schwintek. And now your idea is to take the motor out of both sides and kind of get it flushed that way and then put the motor back in and that'll fix it. And if we understand a little bit about how these Schwintek systems work, that won't work for you. Okay. So here's the motor at the top right here, and there's a coupler that the motor attaches. You have this torque shaft. Now you may have this. I call it like a cloverleaf torque shaft, so it's round with little slots on it, or it might be a hexagon made out of steel. Um, Lippert has two different designs. They're switching everything over from the aluminum torque shaft over to the steel torque shaft. But there's a couple million parts out there that are like this. So I'm not sure which one you have. Um, However, the motor is going to have like a D-shaped drive shaft, and the coupler is what bonds the motor's D-shaped drive shaft to whatever torque shaft profile you have. So the drive shaft runs the entire length from this coupler all the way down to the bottom rack. And so, like in this picture, the motor would be up here, and then you have one motor turning, and then it's a long torque shaft that's going top and bottom. So that is to say that as the motor's turning 301 or 501, then this spur gear is turning and this spur gear is turning. And so by you removing your motor and pushing your slide room in like you're wanting to, um, you're overcoming. If the system was installed correctly, that would not work because they're bonded to each other. Okay. I think what's happening in your system is this little shoe right here, um, that might be broken. And so if the purpose of the shoe, you could see how this whole bearing block is kind of binded to or abutted against this rack. And they do that with this foot and shoe profile that's hooked inside of the rack. This is the original design. They have an inverted design that they had for a while, then they went back to the original design. So there's a couple redesigns on the shoe and this profile here. In this picture, it's pointing down. Yours might be pointing up. That's the inverted design. And then on the bottom, they have this V roller that's kind of binding this bearing block to this rack with this roller here. So the reason they do that is because they want this spur gear to be kind of enmeshed with these slots right here. I think what's happening is if you were to look at your slide room, I want you to bump it in and out, or maybe your wife can bump it in and out. You're on a ladder, or you could bump it in and out. She's on a ladder, and I want you to watch this. You'll be able to pull the wiper flap, the wiper seal. You'll be able to pull it back a little bit, but I want you to try to get your eyeball right in this little spot right here and see if this bearing block is twisting on you at all. A perfect system, it should not twist at all. And I think what you might find on yours is when you extend or retract, there's going to be a little bit of play in this top bearing block. And if there's any play in that top bearing block, that means that the spur gear is not meshed in with these little slots here, and you're going to have some slippage. It would not surprise me if you had some aluminum shavings, or maybe even, it's rare, but maybe even a broken tooth on your spur gear. Okay. So if that's how these things get out of alignment, is because there's play in one of these bearing blocks, and because of a broken shoe. So the shoe is on the foot of the bearing block, and the shoe's plastic. Think of it as a fuse. If something's going awry or sideways with the system, that plastic shoe is the one that's going to break, and it's enough for you to realize there's something wrong, um, and make a repair to it. But if you keep running it with it broken like that, then you're going to get a situation where you're starting to strip out your rack, you're starting to break some teeth on this thing, and then what'll happen is the foot part of this bearing block will start to strip out on you, and then the shoe will not connect to it. Now, I do have a video that we made that covers this specific issue. Now, the video is titled "Schwintek's slide stuck out 1 inch, broken shoe. We're going through and we're changing the thumbnails and changing the titles of our videos. So it may not be the title of the same, but it'll have something to say around that regard there. So what I want you to do is watch this video. I'm going to give you a link to this video as well, but I want you to watch this video because I demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. And if I can click play here, let me see if this will let me click. So here's a broad shaft. What I want you to do is where I've got this taken apart, watch the play is in that bearing block. There should not be. So you saw how much play there was, and the video goes on. It's 34 minutes, and I think this would be a great video for you, and it shows how I recovered from this. And I also do a little bit of show and tell later on in the video on, the different shoes. Now, how do you recover from this if that's what's going on with your system? You're going to have to get, hopefully, best case scenario, the repair kit, and you'll put a new shoe in here. To do that, you'll see that's basically what I did in that video. So watch that video, get yourself familiar with how these work, replace that shoe, and hopefully that's all that's wrong. That's all that was wrong with that current system. But if it's been going on for a while, you're going to need to do a little bit more replacement. And if it's really bad, then my recommendation has always been to replace the entire assembly. You're going to find a variant number sticker. They'll probably put that sticker somewhere on this rack. So normally I've seen it up the upper portion, not at the top. I've seen it right in this area. Each column will have a sticker on it. And what you're looking for is that V number. It's a variant number for that system. If you can get that V number, like that is to say, if this is just totally eaten itself, it's kind of ridiculous to put new parts on old worn out aluminum parts, if that makes sense. So it's around a $1,400 expense for the parts, but what you're going to get, both all new H columns, all new racks, 2 new motors, everything you see here, you're going to get brand new. We've had customers do that. It's in the neighborhood of $1,200 to $1,400. It'll come in a long tube, ship UPS. I've got several videos on how to make the change. If you're handy, you could easily do this yourself. Give yourself about 5 hours or so to get the job done. But if you need to replace a shoe, you need to take the whole thing apart anyway, because the shoe comes off the end of this rack right here. And you need to take all these screws off the H column and all the screws off of your rack right here, just to get this loose enough to slide this bearing block off the end to put the new shoe on and slide it back on and put it all back together again. So anyway, I hope that helps. Sorry that this is happening to you, but I just wanted to give you some feedback by pulling that motor out and pushing it in. That's not going to fix the problem. There's going to be some play in that bearing block somehow, and I think it's going to be your shoe. So I wish you the best of luck. I'll add a link to that video. The hyperlink will work, even though the title might change and the thumbnail might change. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck, and if you want, shoot us a line and let us know if that worked for you.
If you're looking for more content like this, we've got additional training and resources over on Patreon. Scan the QR code or check the link in the description to learn more.